Artificial intelligence being used in music, is it theft? It's not that easy. There's a plethora of examples of how artificial intelligence can be used in music. Let me give you a rundown. AI can be used to create a stem for bass line. AI can be used to create a stem for horn lines, and everything else was done by humans. Is that theft? Is it theft if we use artificial intelligence for background vocals where we have a human lead vocalist killing it and doing all these riffs up and down? There's a lot that goes into AI music. Also, when you're mixing a track, you could use artificial intelligence. You could use AI to even master a track. So at what point is it theft? You could use AI for autotune. I mean, everyone uses autotune, right? The record labels will tell you, you have to use it. Is that theft? If we used autotune and AI influenced autotune just when the singer was about to go flat, is that theft? You see, it gets very complicated, and that's why we're going to put on our debate hat and we're going to go into the world of AI music wars. Welcome. Take a seat, bookmark this, because you're going to have to come back to it. This is the elephant in the room that very few musicians want to address. You see, the current discourse around AI music generation has been hijacked by a fundamentally flawed premise. When artists and labels cry theft over AI systems learning from publicly available music, they're not making a principled stand for creative rights. No. In most instances, they're making a cynical power grab disguised as moral outrage. How dare you use AI for our sacred art? But the reality is stark and simple. AI learning from music is not stealing. It never was. And the manufactured hysteria around this concept reveals the true motives behind the opposition. Let's talk about how AI actually learns, because a lot of people think AI learns by storing songs on a server at Suno headquarters. That's not true. Understanding the technical reality of how AI learns destroys the narrative immediately. When an AI processes music, it does not create a jukebox of stolen songs in the basement. No, it doesn't. Instead, it performs sophisticated statistical analysis. The AI analyzes relationships between musical elements, timbre, pitch, rhythm, harmony, chords, and how those chord progressions create emotional responses, how specific rhythmic patterns define genres, how timbral qualities distinguish instruments. It's building a mathematical model of musical probability. You see, AI will extrapolate patterns from this analysis, creating a multi-dimensional map of musical structure that spans centuries of human creativity. It learns like the grammar of music, if you wanted to call it that, across every conceivable style. The AI generates new content by navigating this statistical landscape, creating novel compositions that follow learned patterns but are entirely original sequences of notes, rhythms, and harmonies. Yes, I know we only have 12 notes in music. Contrary to what a lot of unschooled people believe, you should probably ask someone, how many notes are there in music? They'll probably think they're countless, but they're only 12. But they're innumerable permutations and combinations of chords, melodies, harmonies, rhythm, and pitch. It is truly remarkable what we have from just 12 notes. But don't be blindsided by the fact that AI is not storing unique sequences of notes and using those in compositions at random. No. The process is for the AI to understand how to extrapolate these relationships, form conclusions from the data analysis, and present new permutations of that information. You see, the process is very identical to how musicians learn. It's just exponentially more efficient. The only difference is speed and scale. And suddenly, that efficiency is being called theft. Is it theft because AI learned from a Coltrane piece faster than I did? Maybe it took me a whole year to learn giant steps, but it took the AI mere minutes. Is it theft because I listened to a Susie Quattro album and I couldn't decipher what she was doing for 5 years and AI deciphered it in 5 minutes? Let's think about the economies of scale and the agent versus the human involved. Is what makes it theft and the fact that the AI company owes a check to the creator because it's an AI agent learning versus a human? If I don't owe Susie or the Coltrane estate money because I learned from their songs, why does the AI have to pay? Why is there a bill? You see what I'm saying? It's the greatest hypocrisy, my friends. The most damning aspect of the anti-AI argument is this hypocrisy that, oh, we as artists, we don't take from anyone else. It's all 100% our inspiration. You see how weird it sounds for me to demand payment for AI inspiration or inspiration if a human listened to my music? Yeah, in the same token, it's very strange when you understand how AI learns and request a check because AI learned from my music. You see, the entire history of music is unauthorized learning. Did the Beatles pay the estates of Little Richard and Chuck Berry for absorbing their styles? Does every jazz musician owe royalties to the ears of Charlie Parker for using bebop technique? Has any hip-hop producer ever compensated James Brown's estate for sampling his rhythmic innovation? Oh, let's say Bernie, who had that crazy backbeat. Mr. Purdy must be owed a ton of money because ain't nobody paid him for those crazy beats he created. Everyone uses them today. You see, the chain of musical influence has never been a transaction. Artists have always learned freely from what came before, building upon existing foundations and creating something new. That is how human musicians have always worked. So to suddenly demand payment for being an influence is to commodify the very process that created all modern music. This is not protecting creativity. It's attempting to put a toll booth on inspiration itself. You learn from my music, you owe me. Oh, AI, you learned from me, you owe me. You see, the real issue, in my mind, isn't about data rights. The real issue isn't about creative rights. It's power masked in data rights. You see, it all boils down to the power. Who wields the power? Through the data rights. And this is where the narrative gets honest. The problem was never AI learning patterns. The legitimate concern is the unauthorized use of copyrighted recordings as data. That's how it's masked. And this sounds like a valid legal and ethical issue about data licensing and compensation. It's a battleground where the legal concept of fair use is being pushed to its absolute limit. But rather than engage with this nuanced reality, the industry has chosen to wage a propaganda war against the concept of AI learning itself. They've deliberately conflated the process, which is pattern recognition, with the problem, data licensing leading to power. Because it serves their strategic interest. The AI is stealing narrative isn't about protecting artists. If you think it is, you are utterly deluded. Because the folks in the companies, the record labels, you kidding me? They're not thinking about protecting artists. It's about protecting their market position. Now that leads us to the Suno versus UMG war. The real stakes. What are the real stakes? You see, the landmark lawsuit between the big three, Universal, Sony, and Warner, not to mention all the indies, this reveals the true battlefield. It's not about creativity. It's not about creative integrity. It's about who controls the future of music creation. It's about who holds the bag or gets a piece of it. You see, the record labels aren't trying to stop AI music. They're trying to own AI music. So if you think you're on the same side, think again. Their lawsuit demands catastrophic damages designed to bankrupt current AI companies. But the real goal is forcing the entire industry into licensing agreements that make the big three essential gatekeepers. And if they win outright, they're going to kill innovation. Because whether you like it or not, Miles, when he decided to use the synthesizer as part of his music, was being innovative. People who changed from lute and harp to guitar, they were being innovative. People who changed from playing a harpsichord to the piano were also being innovative. And I dare say, to aggravate the many who say, don't use that example, the horse and buggy being phased out for the automobile is another example, which people hate to accept. But I used it anyway, because I truly believe that stifling any form of creativity with the use of technology is poor and bad for the future of humans. I believe in the democratization of music, and I believe the chips will fall wherever they will. People will get fed up of AI slop. Don't police it. There will always be AI slop. And I want to debate that the same way there's AI slop, my friends, there is music slop all over the place. It has always existed for years, and it will always exist. There will always be the less than ideal creations. What makes it slop isn't the speed of creativity, it's the lack of the human in the loop. So when we think about this, we need to understand where the record labels are coming from. If they win outright, well, they're going to kill innovation. If they lose completely, their catalogs become free training data and they lose all leverage. And if they settle, which is the most likely outcome, they're going to strike a deal. They transform threat into a massive new revenue stream. That's what's going to happen while maintaining their gatekeeper status. See, the most probable outcome, and I've always said this, between Suno, Udio, the big three, is going to be a negotiated surrender disguised as partnership. All companies will pay enormous retroactive licensing fees and enter ongoing agreements. That's how it's going to play out. I can almost predict it. Because the big three want their cut in all AI-generated music revenue, and the indie guys, they want their cut as well. Not because AI is learning in a different way, but because that's just too much money and too much power to give to one little guy. This allows the labels to appear progressive and tech-friendly. You see, if they could control things themselves, they won't have a problem with it. It's because the control of the AI music landscape currently lies in the hands of an alien, an outsider. So what happens when these deals are formed? It will allow the labels to appear progressive. It will allow them to monetize their catalog, control which AI companies can compete, and maintain their position as essential infrastructure. The labels don't want to kill the golden goose. They want to own the farm. They don't want to kill Suno, Udio, Audemy, and the others. They want a piece of the pie. They want a piece of that AI pie. There's a broader implication. This battle represents a larger war between technological progress and entrenched interests. The AI is stealing narrative is a weapon wielded by those who profit from artificial scarcity against tools that could democratize creation. The real threat AI poses isn't to creativity. It's to the middlemen who have controlled access to creative tools and distribution. And for the very first time in music history, anyone with an internet connection can create professional quality music without record labels. Even Suno 3.5, the worst of all their tools, is the very best music generator that many have ever seen, except for the machines of people who used to do it for the record labels at Motown and others. This is genuinely revolutionary, my friends, and the incumbents know it. The future of music technology shouldn't be determined by the strategic interests of three massive corporations or a bunch of indie companies. The theft narrative is intellectually dishonest and historically ignorant, a manufactured crisis designed to preserve market dominance. And when they propagate all these illusions, smoke and mirrors, they have the poor people who cannot think for themselves echoing the same blindly. AI learning from music is not stealing. It's the next evolution of how humans interact with musical knowledge. Now, I also want to share an idea that I've had for a while. Even if they stamp out the likes of Suno and Udio, there will be another arrangement where people are able to build an AI tool with their own catalogs of music. It's going to happen. And then what will the big three do then? It's just that Suno is so ridiculously good. Have you used version 5? You see me celebrating version 5? Because I think it's truly awesome. I love the way it gives people, those who may have mobility issues, those who have cognition issues, those who are not able to afford a big studio, but want to make music, but want to be happy, want to just be silly. They now have a vehicle to do it. So I don't begrudge Suno. I think they've done a lot for people's mental health and happiness. So how do we prevent the incumbent gatekeepers from capturing and controlling the technologies? By being smart in the narrative, by stopping the steal. And when I say the steal, the theft of people's joy. You know how many people have had immense pleasure, kids, adults of all ages, by working on their funny little songs in Suno. They're having a ball. They're having a blast. They're not even looking to release this stuff. They just want to have fun. Now, on the flip side, there are people like me who will release music. And you just need to search on YouTube for Phil the Creator. Listen to some of my music I've created using artificial intelligence, and also partnering. On some of them I play, on some of them I sing. The AI music wars It's not about protecting artists, my friends. It's about the bag. Who gets the profit? Who gets the lion's share of the pie? And recognizing this distinction is essential for anyone who wants that future to benefit creators rather than just corporations. The revolution isn't coming, my friends. It's already here. So let's get with the program. Let's be smart. Let's think. Let's analyze. If Phil demands a check for me learning from his songs, how will I see him? A dubious so-and-so, that's what. You say that guy's a crook. I ain't giving him a dime. He doesn't deserve anything. His music is on YouTube. All I did was listen to it for a year and get the associations between those chords he played. I don't owe him nothing. And if you thought that you owed me, I want to tell you you're wrong. You don't owe me nothing. And that's the same way we need to view the world of AI. But since it's gone so far, and Suno has already gotten in the hundreds of millions valuation, everyone's looking at that bag. Everyone's asking, I want a piece of that pie. Truth be told, I want Suno to succeed in whatever they're doing right now. I want them to come out as a shining example of how music and the democratization of it should be upheld. I'm curious to know what you think. I'm not asking you to think the way I am. I'm just telling you how I see things. But how do you see things? I have a number of questions for you. How do you see AI being used? Do you have a zero tolerance for AI? It should never be used in any part of music. Not mixing, not mastering, not creativity. Drop me a comment below. Okay? Be respectful. I do want to hear from you. I do want to hear a lot of opposing comments. I do want to hear from those of you who think a human learning is not the same as an AI learning. Why do you say that? Drop me a comment, respectfully. Let's make this community broad and robust, and let's bring all sorts of colorful arguments. I'm here for it. But that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Thank you for joining me today. This is just the beginning of the AI music wars. It's your buddy Phil, saying a big thank you for staying this far, and signing off. Bye for now.
Get it.
Perfect. Oh, I fall.
Another one for the vault?